The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
The Huffington Post reporting just hours ago that a congresswoman from Missouri expressed doubt over President Obama's birth certificate. This is U.S. Representative Vicky Hertzler, who was being asked apparently at a town hall meeting about the investigation that has been in the news a lot over the last few weeks by Sheriff Joe Arpaio and his posse into the PDF copy of President Obama's birth certificate that he released online. And indeed, the birth certificate has really been in the news a lot, thanks in large part to Sheriff Joe, who joins me right now. Sheriff Joe Arpaio, welcome to Aaron Klein Investigative Radio. Let me begin by telling you that even before your investigation into Obama's birth certificate a few months ago, as soon as he put it on the White House website, I personally hired 3 different forensic experts. Each expert did not know that I hired the other. The experts did not know who I was. They simply looked at the PDF copy. They investigated it in a major way. They came back, and all 3 separately had the same conclusion, and that is that there are modifications in the PDF document that they cannot explain and that is not consistent with a scanned copy of a document. So in other words, this is not political. The modifications are there. This cannot be wished away, giving more legitimacy to your investigation, which I know focused on layering. Now, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of everything that you found because that could take over an hour. We don't have that much time. But for those who are listening right now, and let's say who are not familiar with what you found, if you can give us a general overview of your conclusions into the birth certificate and its investigation.
Well, let me say this. I'm not going to criticize your efforts on your what you did. This takes it to a different level because we are a law enforcement agency. I believe we're the first law enforcement agency to look at. Gives it a little different type of credibility.
Yeah.
So we came up with the same situation that you are and went a little further. Also, we found the selective service form that's very puzzling, and we feel that is also a forgery and fraud. The only reason I got, I'm not anyone exceptional, except that I'm an elected sheriff, and I'm willing to take on controversial situations. But the only reason I got involved was we had 250 Tea Party people sign a petition, came to my office, said, Sheriff, you're our last hope. Will you look into it? Okay. I didn't throw it in the wastebasket, which I'm sure hundreds and hundreds of federal and other law enforcement agencies have done. So I looked into it. I gave it to my cold case posse to alleviate any criticism that we are using taxpayers' money. So they've done a great job under the lead investigator, Mike Zullo. And my instructions were this. I want you to clear the president. I want to get to the bottom of this and get it off the table forever. It didn't happen that way. There are big problems with those 2 forms that I'm concentrating on. Also, as you know, there's a lot of controversy about the president, where he was born. I can go on and on. I'm not accusing the president of any crime. However, there's a lot of suspicion out there, at least on those 2 forms, which I call probable cause.
Yeah, no, President Obama, he did not release his official paper document birth certificate. It was only an online PDF file, and you found it's on YouTube. Listeners can go on YouTube and look at the specifics. You found evidence that is very strong, that raises a lot of questions that are there. No matter what anyone's politics are, the facts still are the facts. And yet, when you had the press release and you had a press conference a few weeks ago, I read a lot of the news media coverage, and in virtually every single article in the mainstream news media, they immediately, at the beginning of the article, they discredited everything by saying right away the discredited theory of Obama's birth certificate. Discredited. That was a key word that they used. Really, Sheriff Joe, do you know of any news media outlet that did the investigating that you did and that discredited what you put out?
Well, I'm a little, I've been in law enforcement 50 years, 30 with the U.S. government. I was a top official with the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration under the U.S. Justice Department. I have never, and I lived through the Watergate era, I'm familiar with that. I have never seen a blackout that I am observing over this issue. Nobody wants to talk about it, so through WND and other ways we're getting the message out so the American people will know what's going on. And by the way, when I started this, I asked for one thing. That's all. I want to see the microfilm. And then that would clear the president. Show us the microfilm. Still, you can't find any records that they will give, to us. So there's something fishy going on. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep looking at this and see where it leads us to. I don't have much confidence with the U.S. government because we need their help. I wrote to the Selected Service Director. They come back with some bureaucratic garbage, and they're not going to let us see the original Selected Service card, which is very important. So we're going to be stonewalled all the way.
Just as the media stonewalled you, I do not know a single news agency in the United States that hired independent forensic experts and that went through the birth certificate. Now, we understand the media, but what about GOP lawmakers? Have you heard from Republicans on this? Are they afraid of this?
Well, I haven't heard from any, especially the congressional delegation from Arizona. I've had presidential candidates visit me in my office. I've talked to every one of them, either by phone or campaigning, or had them in my office. I don't see anybody talking about this. I don't see any senators talking about it. When they mention me, they seem to forget my name. So isn't that interesting? On both sides of the fence, they don't want to talk about this. This is a potential crime. If it was you forging government documents, you'd probably be in jail tomorrow. So regardless whether it's the president or anybody else, how come everybody's hiding this? Because it happens to have the president name mentioned? Or
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if I'm pulled over in your district and then I instead of giving you a driver's license, I show you a PDF copy of a driver's license? I don't think that would fly. Now, you're talking about both sides of the political aisle. We're speaking with Sheriff Joe Arpaio. What's very interesting is that this started, and a lot of people don't know this, with the Hillary Clinton campaign. I can confirm this because in 2008, and I'm the guy who first put out the information of President Obama and his ties to Bill Ayers, I had different sources in the Hillary campaign, and they were pushing to me this story. Now, I understand that aside from the birth certificate issue, aside from the selective services issue, you will now be adding to your probe some interesting information from Hillary supporters. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know about the Hillary supporters. If that's going around, that's a side issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a law enforcement guy. I'm just trying to investigate facts, just like we do on any investigation. Now, because of that, and I would presume this is politics too, you have an elected president, so that may come out when you talk about Hillary. But it's interesting, even back in those days, why didn't someone investigate this?
Yeah.
I mean, where is everybody? Where's the feds? How come the federal agencies don't investigate it? We're dealing with federal issues here. So everybody's hiding, and they're still hiding. And what am I supposed to do now?
Well,
just dump everything in the wastebasket and say I did the best I can and forget it? I'm sure they would love to have that happen, but I can't. We're going to still look into it.
Right. Now, the Obama administration on Tuesday, as was reported around the country, announced that they are preparing to sue you in the case where they claim that you violated civil rights laws. Do you believe, because this has been going on for 3.5 years, we have an election coming up, you were on Fox News, you talked about how you believe this is politically motivated, but let me ask you a more direct question. Do you think that the decision now to sue you and the talks broken off, do you think that this also is related to, is it also because of your probe into Obama's birth certificate?
Well, you know, they've been looking at it 3.5 years. The Obama administration opened this up. It wasn't under the Bush administration like everybody's trying to say. But they've been looking at our office for 3.5 years on alleged racial profiling because of pressure from the Democrat elected officials here in Maricopa County, putting the pressure on the DOJ. But I'll have to tell you, we started this Obama situation in August, and then they came down in December and really hit us on a press conference. So I don't know. I don't know how they operate. You know, I've met with attorneys general all over the world, Washington, on and on. This whole situation a little strange, and I don't think you'll ever see this again in politics or in Washington. So maybe with your help and other media outlets, maybe the public will start becoming angry at this and insist that there will be a congressional inquiry, and there's something being done about it, not just a little old sheriff from Maricopa County.
All right, Sheriff Joe, the little old sheriff from Maricopa County, who's making certainly a big splash. Thank you for being here.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.